Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Cabinet has approved the move to regulate systemically important financial institutions. Government seeks to recruit specialized staff from Cuba to support the local health sector. And the National Training Agency wraps up its annual Skills Expo 2013. Thank you for joining us. Finance Minister the Honorable Larry Hawai says Cabinet has approved the move to regulate systemically important financial institutions. The decision has been deemed necessary if government is to prevent any financial collapse of these institutions.
Moves to regulate the financial sector, more so systemically important financial institutions, SIFIs, are on the cards. Finance Minister Larry Hawai made the revelation during this week's post-cabinet media briefing, where he noted the suggestion from Central Bank Governor Jawala Rambaran for single financial regulatory authority for the country to be established. The governor had stated that important financial institutions such as the Unit Trust Corporation, worth billions of dollars, and the NIB, which controls 1/10 of the assets of the financial system, are not regulated at the moment. Minister Hawai says steps are being taken in this direction.
These bodies have moved towards intensive supervision and regulation of these financial entities through the introduction of specific capital, liquidity, and other prudential requirements. In this regard, in 2009, the G20 leaders asked the Financial Stability Board to develop a regime for the effective resolution as part of a broad-based policy framework to deal with SIFIs.
The Finance Minister says Cabinet notes the importance of these bodies to the local economy and cited the need to regulate this sector if it is to prevent another financial collapse, such as the CLICO fiasco.
The standards established by the Financial Stability Board were endorsed by the G20 leaders in November 2011. In addition, the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, which is a primary global standard setter for the prudential regulation of banks, and the International Monetary Fund, have also issued guidance that specifically targets SIFIs. The Minister of Finance and Economy and the Cabinet as a whole share the view that the regulation and supervision of SIFIs is imperative, having regard to the systemic risk associated with these financial institutions, as the collapse or the failure of one of these institutions represents a potential threat to the smooth functioning of markets and the economy.
He outlined the 5 companies deemed as SIFIs and in dire need of protection.
The following institutions have been identified as SIFIs in the Trinidad and Tobago context. These are the Home Mortgage Bank, the Unit Trust Corporation, the National Insurance Board, the TTMF, and the ADB. These 5 institutions will now fall part of the overall regulatory regime, formally form part of the overall regulatory regime of the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, and we are now in the process of moving forward with respect to specific legislative requirements that will be required to be put in place to ensure that these institutions are properly regulated.
The move to regulate this sector also comes on the heels of suggestions put forward by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on Trinidad and Tobago's economy. Kimberly Ram-Calawan, News 4.
Meanwhile, government will move to recruit specialized staff from Cuba to support the local health sector. Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Fuad Khan says this is necessary if it is to provide the quality health care services to citizens.
In an effort to improve the quality of healthcare and services offered at the nation's hospitals and health centers, the country will recruit several specialist doctors and nurses from Cuba. Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Fuad Khan, in announcing the recruitment drive during the weekly post-cabinet news briefing, says a shortage of specialized staff in areas such as oncology and intensive care has called on these vacancies to be filled by foreign workers.
We will be going back to Cuba between, as I said, November 16 and 22nd to bring some medical officers for pathology, epidemiology, internal medicine, hematology, ophthalmology, plastic surgery, intensive care, surgery, oncology, neurosurgery again, neonatology and radiology. We will also looking for about 135 specialist nurses in midwifery, intensive care, cardiology, surgical care, dialysis, accident and emergency, oncology, which is cancer, district health visitors, general nursing and operating theatre procedures.
Dr. Khan says apart from doctors, medical support staff, such as technicians, has also been asked to work here in Trinidad and Tobago.
We have asked the Cuban government to identify pharmacists, radiographers, ultrasonographers, MRI technicians, CT technicians, entomologists, biomedical engineers. At present, we have one biomedical engineer who is world-renowned and doing a lot of work teaching our young technicians to repair a lot of the medical equipment. And also perfusionists we'll be looking for to develop our cardiac surgery program.
Meanwhile, the health minister unveiled plans to expand the Arima Health facility.
We've gotten approval to build a new Block E on the district health facility, together with refurbishing the whole district health facility to make it a primary and secondary healthcare services. We are going to do on that Block E, that is will be attached to the district health facility as it is, an operating theatre and recovery room, a psychiatric clinic, chronic disease clinic, pediatric clinics, which is well needed, pediatric physiotherapy clinics, accident and emergency services, and in-house stay for minor and midwifery and also gynecological and obstetric stay. This is going to cost approximately $188 million with VAT inclusive, and we hope to attach that to the main hospital when it does come about.
Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
November 10th is Memorial Day, where those who fought for freedom and sacrificed their lives during their tenure in military service are remembered. In Trinidad and Tobago, the customary laying of the wreath at Memorial Park has been set aside for Sunday. National Security Minister Captain the Honorable Gary Griffith spoke of plans for this year's event during this week's post-cabinet media briefing.
Memorial Day, it will be held on Sunday the 10th of November. His Excellency would be there in laying the wreath, as well as other members in the protective services and the diplomatic corps. It is a day that we should all remember. I mean, it involves individuals who were killed in the line of duty in previous wars, and what they did basically was the ultimate sacrifice, whereby they gave up their lives for that of democracy and for that of citizens in their countries. So it is a very important day to remember, and that will be on Sunday at the Cenotaph Memorial Park.
A day to remember indeed. News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. The National Training Agency, an outfit of the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, wrapped up its annual Skills Expo 2013, held for 2 days at the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. Patrons, especially students, were given access to a host of information and personnel who took time to advise them on how to choose the right career, physical preparation for interviews, as well as how to write their best resume.
Patrons attending this year's Skills Expo 2013 were given more than they expected. They not only got advice on traditional sectors such as agriculture, health and education, but also on sectors like construction, automotive, creative, personal services, yachting, manufacturing and engineering, tourism and hospitality, and information and communication technology. The expo was held under the theme, Your Skills, Your Future. Addressing participants as well as attendees, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, the Honorable Fazil Karim, dispelled the notion that expos like this one was a waste of time.
The very often question that is asked is how can you justify your expenditure? People will ask the question, so you're spending a lot of money on things like these. Does this investment justify it? My answer continuously is yes, and I'll tell you why. I identify sessions like these as investors in people. Very often, if you were to go outside and take a survey, if you go right outside here, and maybe the Metal Industries Company might be best placed to take that survey. If you were to visit all of the employers or the companies in the Twin City Industrial Estate, and you were to ask them, do you know what programs and courses are available? I am almost certain that if you had 10 of them, maybe 6 of them may say they do not know, or it might be in the reverse. And therefore, sessions like these are important to inculcate that and increase that awareness of the opportunities that are provided by you, the taxpayer of Trinidad and Tobago, for you, the taxpayer of Trinidad and Tobago, and your children and your grandchildren.
The Skills Expo 2013 heads to Tobago on the 15th of November 2013. The vision of the National Training Agency is to create a workforce that is certified, competent, innovative, enterprising, and entrepreneurial, contributing to the continual development of Trinidad and Tobago. Felicia Wilson-Mon, News 4.
A diabetic retinopathy screening service is coming to the Southwest Regional Health Authority. Already a program manager, 3 retinal photographers, and 3 retinal graders have been employed by the SWRHA under instruction of Professor David Owens of Cardiff University School of Medicine and Swansea University, both in Wales. The team and the group has undergone intensive training.
Diabetic retinopathy is damage to the retina which is caused by complications of diabetes, which can eventually lead to blindness. In Trinidad and Tobago, the prevalence of diabetes is reputed to be about 13%, the majority being type 2 diabetes. Figures from the American Diabetes Association shows that diabetes is the leading cause of new cases of blindness among adults aged 20 to 74 years old. With these statistics in mind, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the Ministry of Health, has not only expanded the Chronic Disease Assistance Program, CDAP, to include the provision of blood glucose meters and testing strips, but more recently embarked on diabetic retinopathy screening pilot program at the Southwest Regional Health Authority, the SWRHA, following which several findings will help to determine the structure of the formal diabetic retinopathy screening service for the SWRHA. That pilot project will be completed by the end of January 2014. During a tour of the facility, the Honorable Dr. Fuad Khan, the Minister of Health, explained that Professor David Owens of Cardiff University School of Medicine and Swansea University, both in Wales, was invited to return to Trinidad and Tobago to assist in developing the program. 2 years ago, Dr. Owens conducted a lecture on diabetic retinopathy in this country.
A couple months ago, I had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Danisha Monroe, radio person. She's from Southwest Regional Health Authority, one of what we call the digital retinal screeners. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she brought Professor Owens to me, which is Professor Owens here, professor from Swansea University, that he is responsible for developing the program of digital retinal screening as a pilot study in the Southwest Regional Health Authority. He has been approached through the John Hopkins thing, was that, am I right? Yes, correct. John Hopkins initiative, I have to give what is due. And we sat about speaking, and he enlightened me together with Nanisha what was happening in Superior. I then spoke to John Hopkins, because John Hopkins' contract is coming to an end in January. However, the digital retinal program, I realized, was an extremely good program, because what was happening, and what we found out via Professor Owens, that in Mauritius, the island of Mauritius, when this island-wide screening took place, they were able to decrease the need for what we call vitreoretinal surgery by approximately 60 to 70%. Now, what is that? That is the, in diabetics and some other people, at the back of the eye there's a place called the retina. And the retina due to diabetes and hypertension, different things, have big problems. Now we have Dr. Bola here, who is named veterinarian. He's a senior person who does most of the veterinary PR safeties in Trinidad. However, the success rate of not doing it and preventing it is better than doing it. Am I right? Yes. So, seeing that San Fernando had this pilot of Superior had this pilot program going on with diabetics, I've come up to take a look at the system because we want to duplicate it in an island-wide duplication of this pilot project.
So far, the Superior District Health Facility has commenced screening. Felicia Wilson-Mon, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Defending North Zone Intercol champion St. Anthony's College faced Malik as this year's edition of the Marquis Secondary Schools Knockout Football Tournament got underway on Thursday. Malik struggled in the 2013 league competition, but fought hard to take the West Moorings Tigers to the ultimate decider at the Fatima College ground. Wayne Cunningham has the details.
National Intercol champion St. Anthony's College met Malik Secondary at the neutral Fatima College ground when first-round action in the Coca-Cola Intercol North Zone kicked off. Malik, who finished in the stellar position in the zonal competition, were not expected to challenge the eventual runners-up of that tourney and had to defend early. The goalkeeper, with more work to do, with two St. Anthony's attackers in attendance. Malik's first attack was a creditable one, but the pedals on the bicycle fell off. And they should have scored with this free header. St. Anthony's threw most of the punches, but to no avail as the first half ended goalless. It would be more of the same in the second half, backs and forwards, as Malik defended doggedly. Malik did get a chance to send the St. Anthony's faithful home in tears, but they did not capitalize on the last-minute opportunity, taking the decision to kicks from the penalty mark. Both teams were perfect through their first 4 spot kicks. It took something special to win this shootout, and it came in the form of a save. St. Anthony's goalkeeper, Carlton Alfonso, with some redirection in mid-air to send his team to the zonal semi-finals on Monday versus East Mokorapo. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
Thank you very much, Wayne. News 4 continues right after this. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure wishes to advise the public that Phase 2 of the new traffic arrangements at the Churchill Roosevelt Uriah Butler Highway interchange will be implemented from 5 a.m. on Saturday, November 9th. Motorists are asked to note the following route changes. From north Mount Hope to south, southbound traffic must keep right after passing the newly constructed roundabout and proceed onto the new bridge. From north Mount Hope to east Arima, Curep, and Piarco, eastbound traffic must keep left after passing the newly constructed roundabout and proceed onto the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, eastbound. From north Mount Hope to Bamboo number 1, number 2, and 3, Grand Bazaar, keep left after passing the newly constructed roundabout and proceed onto the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, eastbound, and weave to the extreme right lane. Make a U-turn at the Valsine lights onto the frontage road to access Bamboo number 1, 2, and 3, and Grand Bazaar. All other routes remain unchanged. Motorists are kindly asked to proceed with caution and exercise due care when approaching the Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Uriah Butler Highway interchange, as construction works are still taking place. Now, for further information, please view the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure's website and at www.mowt.gov.tt. In other news, the National Transformation Unit is achieving its mandate of overseeing the function of monitoring and evaluation within the public service as it leads the process of institutionalizing a culture of results-based management. More in this report.
The Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development has taken a major step toward institutionalizing monitoring and evaluation within the public sector. On Tuesday, the National Transformation Unit of the Ministry held its third annual Development Evaluation Forum at Movietown's Banquet and Conference Center. To achieve its mandate, which is to oversee the function of monitoring and evaluation within the public service and lead the process of institutionalizing a culture of results-based management, the NTU conceptualized and implemented a Development Evaluation Forum. The theme of the two-day forum was facilitating collaboration, building partnerships, and institutionalizing monitoring and evaluation. It sought to bring together monitoring and evaluation practitioners to share knowledge and build networks in M&E in order to strengthen policy, program, and project delivery in Trinidad and Tobago. At the forum, international, regional, and local speakers shared their experiences in the field of M&E, providing information on approaches, tools, country experiences, lessons learned, and best practices. The forum allowed the NTU to build networks locally, regionally, and internationally for sharing experiences and knowledge in the area of development evaluation. It also provided an opportunity for the ministry to launch its development evaluation website, www.transforme.gov.tt. The aim of the website is to establish communication networks among all development evaluation practitioners and stakeholders, create a knowledge hub for the transfer of new and emerging, and reinforce the use of results-based management in the public sector. The institutionalizing of M&E in the public sector will take the country one step closer to national development. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.